and gentlemen, welcome to the Pop Art Hunter channel. Today we're going to be talking about something different, costuming. If you, a lot of times you don't notice costuming in productions, whether it be Broadway productions or you're watching a movie. If costuming is done right, oftentimes you don't notice it. There's some pieces and some particular costumes that are really great and you're like, yeah, that they did that right. But a lot of times it goes unnoticed, and there's so much detail in that, to sort of highlight the actors and the time period and those things without being distracting, that some of the best costume pieces sometimes just don't get a second look. And so the intricacy that goes into some of these things is really great. And so today we're going to be talking about one of the books I have, The Art of Disney Costuming, which gets into some of the live action Disney movies. Not as much of the old stuff, but it does cover some of that, some of the concept stuff, and then also a lot of the newer live action productions that they're doing. You gotta be able to talk when you're on the YouTube. So I could just edit this out. Maybe I should have stopped it and retook. See, here's the thing. Now I'm getting into this costuming. Art of Disney Costuming. We're going to be covering it right now. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, as always, we're not going to review every single page of this book. It's going to give you an idea of what the book is about and what's inside and some of the visuals of it. But just like with a newsstand, you got to buy it to read it. So make sure that you, if you like what you see here, that you look at maybe getting this book. So this is a hardcover, and it's got a nice sleeve on it. The book itself is kind of a cool look. It actually has like the bust of a costume, both male and female, one on each side, and sort of shows you some intricate work and beading and stuff, what they have there. But it's pretty premium. It shows a lot of costumes on the outside. Again, I'm not a costume buff, but, just being able to see things close up and to try to, analyze them a little bit without the motion happening in the film and the music and all the distractions is kind of a cool thing. So they go all the way back, and this is only very quickly that they go back into some of the older films, and showing you some of the work that they did on those. And then they also have a couple examples, like their TV, the Mickey Mouse Club and the ears and such, some of the various specials they did, creating the wardrobe for their characters within the parks themselves, which some of the cast members that are within there. And then we start getting into the actual movies themselves. Here's Cinderella, and here they're just looking at the concept arts, and they did this for they had subjects even for like Bambi. They would bring a deer into the studio. They would bring somebody in that would model these various costumes, work with movement, give the animator something to work with as far as how they're going to actually bring this to life, how they're going to animate it on the screen. And then here's a look at a more close-up look at this costume. I believe is this from Cinderella? I believe. Well, I mean, it's in the Cinderella section, so I imagine. I haven't seen the new Cinderella yet, so I believe that's from the new Cinderella. We got Into the Woods. Now we're going to start skipping around a little bit here. Once Upon a Time, the television show. And these are some, it looks like, again, if you were watching the show, you're like, oh, it's a blue dress. But then as you see all the little intricacies and the different fabrics and beading or beadwork and lines and bits and bobbles, like, it kind of shows a little bit more of it gives you a little bit more of an appreciation for it. And even the simple things here. This is a Glenn Close, I believe is Cruella de Vil. Like, it's simple, it's black and white, but it shows this, like, it just is very Cruella. So as simple as it is with only two colors, like, it just fits that kind of style. It brings that character from a cartoon into real life through the costume and the look. This is from Tomorrowland. I did not see Tomorrowland, but this is the character of Nix. Jeffrey Kirkland. I'm just reading some of the... It almost looks... It looks like Hugh Laurie. So is Jeffrey Kirkland... Oh, there we go. So Jeffrey Kirkland is the designer, and then Hugh Laurie... Or I was like, that looks like Hugh Laurie. I don't think that is Jeffrey. And this is... So... I don't know if you can tell from this. So I just noticed Mary here, but this is the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. And again, these are just drab, not very, I won't say not very interesting, but just not, I don't know, not significant. But, you know, if you look at the details of it, they're pretty cool. And again, in the movie itself, you're watching it and it just is like an afterthought because it works so well. It fits so well. If all of a sudden the Sanderson sisters, came out wearing this, it wouldn't fit. And because they're not coming out and wearing this, it works so well, but you kind of lose sight of the work that they're doing there. It was from Enchanted. Oh, they even got Captain Hector Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean. Or Caribbean. Gaston from the live-action Beauty and the Beast. Maleficent, which those horns are fabulous. And some of this, Maleficent was one example where, I mean, the costumes in a way almost started being a character, the scene where she's, walking up the staircase in that flowing dress, like that had to be planned out pretty, specifically to make that happen. And all of a sudden that costume becomes a very significant part of this scene, versus just a background piece. You don't care about the costumes in the background right now. You care about this one, but it's part of her character, and you don't consider it a piece of clothing. You can look at how evil Maleficent is. Look at how epic she is. You're not looking at necessarily the train and being like, oh, look at that costume and that piece of fabric that did this. So again, this book, I like how they kind of strip away the actors and actresses and they make it about the costume specifically. Because again, when costumes work, they work. We've got Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Mary Poppins, I believe Mary Poppins Returns, Cinderella, Danny DeVito. Oh, that was from the new Dumbo movie. Danny DeVito's a good guy. I love a little Danny DeVito. Got Aladdin from the live-action Aladdin, and there's Jasmine from the same film. Oh, we got the Santa Claus, and then Jack Frost was Martin Short. It was a good Jack Frost. Now, what is this? I don't know what this is. Mother Ginger, the Nutcracker and the Four Realms. I've never seen such a thing. I've never seen that movie. That's why I was lost. I had no idea. Paco. Yeah, I'm curious. Are these all from that? No, this is from A Wrinkle in Time. I have not seen A Wrinkle in Time. I'm really bad on my current Disney live-action movies. I've seen remakes, but I haven't seen some of the new stuff. Sorcerer's Apprentice, I did not see. New live-action apparently does not interest me. But yeah, again, the book is really cool. They cover a lot of different movies and different types of costuming. It's not entirely big, so it's something that you can put on a shelf, and with the index and etc. It's 175 pages, 176. So yeah, you're almost up to that 200 pages, and it covers a lot of unique designs within the Disney live-action films. Again, something we don't often look at is the costumes, and so if you're into that, I think this is a good book for it. Again, this is a great way to look at costumes that otherwise might be unnoticed when you're watching a film. You just sort of, it's like they're secondary to what's happening on the screen. The words that the actor is saying, the motion in the scene, the music, the action, all of those things kind of take away from this thing that is equally as important. If someone came out in the wrong costume, you would notice, but because they come out in the right costume, sometimes it just adds to that scene and you don't really think much about it. So this is a really cool way to look at these more closely and to isolate them and see all the work that went into going unnoticed. And I know that sounds terrible, but if costumes are done really well, a lot of times they're not really noticed because they just fit so perfectly within that scene. Especially with Disney going from like a animated version of the film to a live action version of the film. The fact that they're able to make that translation to the live action version without anybody being like, that's not the costume they were, that looks different. They're able to actually say, wow, that animated film this real person is that animated character. And so I think a lot of that has to do with the costuming as well. And costumes, you know, as an actor myself, or at least having acted in plays and things like that, I'm not an actor, but having acted in plays, you know, that costume sometimes can help you find your character. It can help you get into that character. It can help you to find your voice. It can help you, you know how your lines are going to go and motivate you. And so I think costuming is so important, and this is a really cool book in my collection that I think illustrates that. If you enjoyed it, maybe try to buy it. If you didn't, just watch this video over and over. Hopefully you can get my view counts up or something like that. Thanks so much for watching the Pop Art Hunter channel, and we will see you next time.